In a world that seems common at first glance, a young man with dark hair reflects on his peculiar reality. For him, this world, with a proportion of one man for every 5 women, should be just a bit different from the one he knew. However, that little difference changed absolutely everything. While walking through a busy cross, he feels that there is nothing special or annoying, which is simply adapting to this new environment. But that calm breaks when a female hand grabs it. He did not understand how, in this world, he had become the object of so much desire. The story begins that the young man, with his eyes tired, thinks for himself that he never asked to be popular. A blonde and tall woman cornering him against the wall, insisting that he drink a drink with her tries. A short blonde girl, named Koimi, drags him far, announcing that they leave and that his appointment is about to begin. The blonde woman is furious, while Koimi takes him almost to trails down the street. He is stunned to think that this is a fairly aggressive way to escape. Koimi, without releasing it, says that sometimes you have to be a bit insistent. He thinks it is impossible to reject her. In his thoughts he reflects that, in this world, the idea that the special man of a woman is someone who loves too much is seen as the correct way of thinking, at least for Koimi. She turns her face with muddy cheeks blushed and says she is dangerous, and that is why she can't leave it. In a moment of memory, he explains his situation. He came from another world, a place that he considered normal. At first he did not notice the obvious differences, but soon the truth became clear. In this world, the proportion between men and women is 1:5. The reason for this demographic imbalance is unknown, but gave rise to an intense debate about legalizing polygamy to combat birth fall. It was found in a place where men are a beautiful and extremely valued resource. Remember your previous life? A simple life to go to school with friends and laugh at nonsense. It was to lose that normality that realized how valuable it was. He decided that he could not give up living a common life. Luckily, even in this strange world, he found kind people who helped him when he was in trouble, becoming his guardians and friends. Back to the present, Koimi is looking at his mobile. She asks what happens to her, commenting that, for a boy who has so many interested beautiful girls, she seems to worry too much about her. He observes it, thinking that perhaps his encounter was not a coincidence, but destiny. He believes that the world changed to girls like her, and decides that, despite everything, he will only live his life normally. A week earlier, the perspective changes Koimi. She considered himself surprisingly innocent. Boring, he plays a morgue named First Fantasy Online, thinking that leveling level is an annoyance. While walking through the halls of the university, he wonders where the classroom is of a limited time event. Suddenly, listen to a couple talking. A boy evaluates the appearance of a girl, giving him a note of 80/5 and saying he is very pretty. Koimi, hearing that, squeezes his fist with rage, thinking about how men can be so arrogant. Keep listening to the boy from how special men are and the advantage they have, saying that they do women a favor to accept, be friends, or even talk to them. That arrogance disgusts her. Shortly after, another boy approaches him and begins to patto on his head, asking if he was love at first sight and offering to be his boyfriend. Koimi is paralyzed with disgust and shame. Later, in a large classroom, Koimi is lying on the table, exhausted. He sighs, feeling that he can no longer. Her black hair and push friend approaches and asks what happens to her, reminding you of your 5 interactions per day. It encourages it, saying that you must strive to find a boy who is not popular so that they can live the university life of their dreams. With a brightness in her eyes, the friend declares that they will catch a handsome man. However, it is not convinced. Reflect on the harsh reality. Men are in a position to choose because they are scarce and valuable. During an activity of the badminton club, Koimi's friend points to a handsome boy and asks if she is interested. Koimi says no, he doesn't want a popular boy. He explains his ideal, a kind and sincere man who treats her as an equal. Her friend laughs, saying that she sounds like a princess, and hugs her, commenting how beautiful but naive she is. He insists that they must be more aggressive, and Koimi reluctantly accepts. Shortly after, Koimi receives a notification that his class was cancelled. He wonders where the lesson material can get. Then he sees a boy sitting alone with discouraged air. She is the same young man from the beginning of the story. She observes it while other girls approach her, trying to get her attention, but he seems only stressed with the situation. Koimi feels that there is something different in him, an aura that is not like that of others. He finds him handsome, but in a way that seems to shine from the inside. Intrigued, he approaches and asks if he is having problems with the inscription to the classes. He turns with a genuine smile and explains that he is a bit backward with the registration procedures. Koimi is shocked. He had never seen a boy smiling so naturally. Impulsively offers to help him. His face lights up, and he asks if he is sure, saying that it would be a great help. Koimi becomes nervous about the intensity of his reaction, worried that he thinks he is rare. He mentions that it is from the Faculty of Letters, and she, surprised by his innocent smile, he ends up accepting him to another classroom to help him. Now she feels that she sinks into a strange mental collapse. Why do you offer your seat if you are only talking? Nothing makes sense already. He realizes that if Masadu is still so kind, he could start crying. He sits silent with him, creating a somewhat uncomfortable scene. He feels that he is dreaming about and thinks of pinching, but remembers that he could end up giving a slap to Amzadu. When assuming that all this is real, note that they are in the same faculty and department. Upon listening to that, I say it would be great if someone like her, a senpai, could help him. But Koimi corrects him fast. She is also first year. Mizadu is surprised, and when he looks at her face, she sinks even more in panic. Think that now you must be having rare thoughts about it. But Masadu reassures her, telling her that, although she is also first year, she is already helping him a lot, especially because he has no friends here. He presents himself as Katadu Masadu and asks his name. Koimi is again out of time. Looking at him, he thinks he is too kind and quiet. This boy is even real, trying to recompose, force a smile despite the sweat evident in his face. Deciding that he cannot be ashamed than what is already, he tells his name, Igarasu Koimi, and adds, delighted to meet you. Sato memorizes his name. Meanwhile, Koimi begins to become obsessed with whether he smiled well or not. MDO explains that he has trouble choosing his classes. Koimi notices that his schedule is completely blank and comes an idea. Maybe I can take advantage of it and make him choose the same classes as her. Nervous, suggests that your schedules synchronize and begin to release weak excuses to justify it. Mizado asks if they can really do that. He calls her and jokingly asks if she is a genius. Mizado suspects that Koimi is helping him without expecting anything in return. What results? Curious, because in his old world, that kind of attitude only saw it in customer service managers. Koimi denies him quickly, insisting that she also gets a benefit. So you shouldn't worry. Mangacapped. Koimi wonders why he doesn't bother her, suggesting that he just wants to approach him. Instead, speak quietly as if everything were normal. Then he asks for his schedule. Sitting right next to her, Koimi begins to wonder if all this will not be a dream. When they finish, Masato sincerely appreciates all the help. But he also tells him that until he receives his student card, he will not be able to attend classes. She feels and says goodbye, realizing that this is the first time to talk to a boy really makes her feel good. Note that Masato doubts to say something when he asks him. He makes a request that leaves her speechless. Asks if he would like to be his friend. The simple and honest question of him contrasts brutally with the arrogant offers to which she was used to. The words of the other boys, who treated friendship as a favor, resonate in their mind, making Masato's request shine even more. With an accelerated heart, he replies that, of course. He accepts a smile of relief, and happiness extends along Masato's face when Koimi says goodbye. He thinks that his university life suddenly seems much more promising, but he barely turns all the attention. He escapes him, and his legs yield. He collapses on the floor, overwhelmed, thinking that it is impossible to handle it. For her, Masato is not a prince who is the ideal person. His appearance, his personality, his aura, everything in him is exactly what he always wanted. He wants it completely. Recovering his composure, he gets up, but his determination wobbles when he sees another girl approaching Masato. Irritated by his lack of defense, he goes towards him and asks him to spread his hand. Place some sweets in your palm, explaining that it is a small thanks for. For her help, Masato smiles warmly, thanks her and calls her by her first name. Koimi, she ashamed, replies that it is nothing and hastened it to leave. Thinking about the genuinely good person who is, as far as Masato moves away, the scene is divided by showing others. One, sitting on a desk, thinks about how your unexpected kindness is a difficult support. Another, in the middle of a volleyball game, reflects that its goodness saves it, even if things remain hard. The final image returns to Koimi, who observes Masato with an intense and determined look. With the pure and brilliant feelings of him in mind, a promise is made, he will absolutely become that man's girlfriend. The story takes place in a peculiar world, where the proportion of men and women is 1-to-5, a fact that weighs on the life of our protagonist, Masato. A month has passed since he was abruptly transported to this parallel reality. While preparing for another day of class, he reflects that despite the initial anxiety of his transfer, his life has been surprisingly normal. With a casual, "I'm leaving," he leaves the apartment. His livelihood in this new world is completely due to a woman named Sumida, who found him fainted and welcomed him shortly after his arrival. He sees her as a true saving. Before leaving, Sumida, with his long, twisted dark hair, he reminds him of his turn at work, asking him to reach the store at 6 in the afternoon. He says he has barely seen him lately, but he reassures her. Before he can leave, she stops him by the shoulders with a sudden seriousness, warning him not to be fooled by strange women and always return home if he leaves late. He promises to do it. While walking, Masato thinks that this world is much better than the previous one, where he felt he always returned with a girl who didn't even like it. Upon reaching university, the auditorium is full to burst. In the middle of the crowd, a family voice calls it. It's Koimi, a short and vibrant blonde girl who signs her with a radiant smile and sits by her side. When you accommodate, feel a kind of luck. Have someone like Kumi as a friend. She gives her a touch in her arm and gently suggests that they should celebrate the seat lunching together. Mizuta looks at her a little confused. In his chest, a hope begins to bloom as a plant too watered, wild, messy, and completely unexpected. In his thoughts, he calls it an adorable creature and wonders, is it possible that you like it? A small spark of hope lights inside him, of the guy who makes you believe that he could finally leave the virgin way. Even so, he mentions his turn and kindly rejects the invitation to lunch. She asks if she always works on Fridays. When he replies that yes, she proposes on Monday. Accept. His level of happiness was comparable to that of someone who finds extra fries to the bottom of the bag, practically jumping while telling him he will wait for him with desire. Mizuto is stunned for a moment. Is such a pretty girl so excited about being her friend? In his original world, he was practically condemned to die without ever approaching a girl. His mind begins to remember all the friendly things Kumi has done. In his original world, he wouldn't even have approached someone like her. Now he begins to ask, could it be that she is ignoring her own friends just to spend time with him? He turns to her and gently asks if he is fine with sitting next to him. Don't you prefer to sit with your other friends? Kumi thinks about a second and responds. Answer that it is not so. You can always see your friends later in the club or elsewhere. He had the expression of someone who offers him to choose between diamonds and humid socks. Mizuto tries to give him the option and mentions that his class has already finished, so if he wants to leave, he can do it. Kumi is confused, asking why. That single word hits Mizuto like a wave, while his soft smile had the emotional power of 1,000 letters of love without sender, sending him to a deep reflection. Why does he look at him with such a sweet smile? And why does that make your heart feel rarely scared? From the Kumi side, the story is different. Before I even entered the classroom, she had already been running from one place to another as someone in special mission looking for him. He had even kept him a seat. He was about to send him a message with a heart emoji, but then thought it would be too cringe. It has been a month since his friendship began, and in his heart he knows that meeting a boy like MDO is something that may never be repeated again. He believes that he needs to protect him from the bad influences of the wrong girls. That is why he decides to always remain by his side. In his imagination, he sees a future where Mizuto is his personal boyfriend. Only that idea causes waves of happiness. While thinking about all this, he sends him a message. Masato responds with a sticker that says, "Thank you." He feels more determined than ever. He will protect MDO from other girls and maybe starting to move forward because he seriously wants him to be his boyfriend. Even so, the fear of rejection is still there. So he decides to go slowly and calmly while offering MDO lunch in class starts thinking. He doesn't even know what kind of food he likes. He is different from everyone else here. The time at school is not enough to know it at all. That is why he decides to invite him to eat outside. In your mind, you can imagine a reservation for dinner. He feels really happy. Later, when Masato mentions her friends, Kimi just wants to spend time with him. He assures him that he will see her friends in the club. But when Masato insists gently again, she begins to question it. Why don't you want to be with her? Question. because the word escapes stronger than he intended. MDO is surprised. He says, "May not feel comfortable with me." Komi stops and asks, "There is another girl with whom you want to go." Her brain immediately enter in detective mode. Her thoughts are tangled out. Perhaps Masadu has another friend. Maybe it's even more beautiful. Komi does not want him to apart. But then he denies his head and tells him that there is no one else. In fact, he is happy that such a beautiful girl feels by her side and that she doesn't have other friends. Those words hit her as fireworks. "Nice girl, you need confirmation." He asks, "Do you really think I'm pretty?" Masadu responds, "Of course, you are very pretty." His cheeks are dyed in intense red. Someone just told him that he is pretty. She smiles, takes a hand to the cheek. Her crush called her Linda. It is a moment that you will never forget. The school ends and separate. Komi moves away, thinking that perhaps he should not ask those rare questions in class. Just then, your friend of the badminton club appears. Seeing the expression on her face, the friend bothers her by asking her what is behind that face in love. Komi reacts nervously, saying that nothing happens. But her friend smiles and presses her more, asking her when she is going to present it. After all, they had promised to share the novelties related to boys. Her friend triggers question after question. Komi gathers his hands apologizing and saying he can't present it. When her friend asks why, Komi only repeats, "I'm sorry." In the background, he knows the truth. He doesn't want to share MZita with anyone. Her friend can barely believe it. He looks at her incredulously and says he never thought that Komi would bow to her saying something like that. Even so, let it pass with the condition that Komi keeps her aware of other boys. Komi accepts. This sounded less to a promise and more to a challenge launched by a rival. Then her friend hugs her, plays her playfully in rare places, and declares that she will get boyfriend before her. It encourages it with a fort, give it everything. Komi reflects on his feelings. Since he fell in love with Mado, life feels magical, as if everything shone with flashes. Everything feels good, but when other girls approach him, he doesn't like it. That makes her feel as if perhaps she was not enough, because she is willing to do anything, and now she realizes something new about herself. He is a jealous person. His thoughts continue to turn around Masadu. Meanwhile, at night, Masadu is playing basketball, thinking loudly. He wonders what happened to Komi today, but when he remembers his cheerful smile, he feels satisfied. That is when another girl appears. He approaches and calls him, thinking that if another girl enters her life, she will not like anything. He spoke like someone throwing a mafia threat, only with extra eyeliner. Masadu cannot play basketball in this world, because the female population is overwhelmingly majority. Sometimes it feels like the latest limited editing action figure in a store full of collectors. In addition, Komi does not allow him to join his club because he does not want Masadu to get involved with anyone else. While thinking about all this, he suddenly realizes that he is not alone. From behind, a voice calls it as Yuka, a member of the basketball club. He turns around and greets her naturally, calling her little girl and telling her that she was a little late. Defended, she replicates that she is no longer a girl. He informs him that he is now in high school, as if he had just unlocked a premium membership of life. Masadu remembers that he met this girl shortly after being transported here. This court was the best place I had found to practice, but before him, Yuka also used to train there. Remember that when they met, Yuka gave them the place without hesitation, and the second time too, but the third challenged it to a game. This is how they began to approach. They played a friendly game in which it was decided that the winner would stay with the site. Masadu believes that his height gives him advantage, but he knows that Yuka is a very skilled basketball player. Once you grow a little more, you can definitely defeat it. While playing together, Yuka suddenly tells him that he has developed a secret strategy today. Start demonstrating it, stealing the ball with skill like someone who has practiced a lot. Just when he is about to enter and get on, his feet get tangled and fall. Gravity was clearly on the killing side today. He throws himself quickly under her, preventing it from hurting. Both are in a very uncomfortable position and realize at the same time. MDO asks her to move, and when she pays attention, she realizes that she is sitting in a very inappropriate position. Start out, jump back and faint. The ground was received as a tired fellow who surrenders from life. While Yuka lies unconscious, her thoughts move away. Remember that this is the first time you have an adequate conversation with a disgust. A month ago, before meeting him, her friends had asked her if she was dating a boy named Saya. Her friend RA replied that yes, and asked Yuka what she thought of him. Embarrassed, Yuka was silent, since he had never confessed to anyone before. I thought that all the boys in their class were just children. At that time, a few behind her began to make fun, saying that she used a bra in class. They started a rare conversation about her bra, since she was taller than all of them. Yuka was aware that no boy in his class was interested in her, especially for her height, but in this world that kind of thing was normal. He completely ignored his comments, knowing that they had nothing to do with her. Her classmates used to make fun of her for playing basketball, but she didn't care and simply moved away. She knew that her friends had joined the club just to approach the boys, but she really wanted to play. I wanted to win as many games as possible. Once, when her friends called her perverted, she was completely impacted. He tried to silence her friend, but the girl continued, saying that everyone already knew that Yuka smiled as she read tone books. He even claimed to have seen something suspicious under Yuka's bed. At that time, Yuka covered her friend's mouth, thinking that it was obvious that being a girl, she would be interested in men. He began to think that if one day he found a great boy outside his class, he would definitely want to be with him. And then he saw him. He stood on the basketball court. I was playing alone. She was surprised. How could a boy be practicing only like this? I had only seen such things in movies or videos. I had never seen a boy play in such an incredible way. Seeing him play, he was very impressed. Then their looks crossed. Yuka froze, stopped there. He couldn't help admiring Misato's beauty. Just then, he told him that he had finished for today, so he could use the court. He stayed in shock of how kind he was. He gave her the court just because she had arrived. But if he left, he would not find him again. In the conference room of his brain, an imaginary ceremony of a medal was held, and she armed himself with courage to approach him. However, while doing so, his head saturated with thoughts and ended without saying anything. When Masadu told him that he was going home, she only stayed there thinking about how idiot she had been. He told herself that she would not give up and believed that she would definitely see him again. A few days later, the club's orientation jumped and ran to the basketball court. Her friends wondered what happened to her. Upon arriving, panting and breathless, he saw him practicing again. He was surprised. He thought he wouldn't come back. Seeing him play again, he felt deeply impressed and entered the court. Masada recognized her, and she felt immensely happy to remember her. Although he had only been there for a moment, which was impressive considering that he did not even remember that he had had breakfast. Wanting to get closer, he challenged him to a game, but soon realized that it had been a mistake. He began to overweight. However, Masadu told him that he also wanted to play with someone, but he warned her that the game would not be easy for her. Yuka felt in his heart that Masadu was really kind. They started playing together and had a lot of fun. They enjoyed the game so much that she wanted that moment to never end. After the game, he knelt to recover his breath and thanked him. Although he had not won even once, Masadu looked at her and told her not to forget to stay hydrated. She noticed that she had forgotten to bring drink. Masadu offered him his, which was already open. At first he refused, but gave up after he insisted. Holding the bottle, he began to panic. I felt it was an indirect kiss because Masato's lips had already touched her. For a moment, he considered emergencies and say, "Hello, yes, I just committed romance by accident." He feared that if Masadu noticed his weird behavior, he would never come back again. But he was thirsty and forced to act normal while he drank. When bringing the bottle to the lips, the only thing he could think about was Sato. His handsome face, his gestures, everything. He repeated it again and again in his mind. Everything about him was attractive. Meanwhile, in his brain, a marathon 20-4 diagonal 7 of MDO was transmitted without commercial cuts. When leaving his thoughts, he realized that something worse than an indirect kiss was happening. She was sitting on the sexy abdomen of Masadu and had her hands on her body. When he noticed, he was completely shocked and confused. Without understanding how it had happened, when recovering consciousness, he was surprised to see Masada by his side. She told him that he was fine, but worried about what he could think, apologized. Masadu assured him that nothing happened. He reminded him that he was already late and had to go home. Upon hearing him, Yuka thought about how he had finally spent time with him, but now everything ended. While leaving, Masadu told him that he would return the following week and that he had to train well until then. In his heart, Yuka felt that he had approached her a lot. Masadu gave him his towel, saying that he had another, so he could stay. Yuka looked at the towel and felt incredibly happy. He was already planning his wedding on the court with the towel as a rings car. While Masada he moved away, he said. He said he had played very well that day and that, with a little more confidence, he could do even better. He finished with a cheerful, "See you next week," and left. Yuka sat down thinking that Mizudu had told him exactly what he had always wanted to hear. He felt his heart belonged completely to him. Now, with the towel on the face, he began to smell it, enjoying deeply its aroma. It was a smell that I had never experienced before. If the towels had emotions, that would have requested a restriction order. Excited, she apologized in a kneading silence, thinking to himself she was a bad girl. Meanwhile, in its part-time turn, Masada receives a message that someone is waiting for him. The scene changes suddenly, showing Amzado in his part-time work. In his mind, the atmosphere of the club appears, a place where men attend the wishes of their female clientele. A coworker named Sarah observes with a complicated expression while Masadu passes to her next client. The camera moves away by revealing the name of the place, a high-level host called Boys Bar Festa. Inside, other hosts seduce with skill their wealthy clients, who are completely captivated. Masadu fulfills with his turn, observing the lively interactions between his companions and the clients. He reflects that this work was a condition to get accommodation. It is painful to see his kind senpai act in such a different way. Despite the friendly personnel, it is difficult for him to adapt to the atmosphere of the club full of forced compliments. His tutor, Aika, who is also client, calls him and suggests that he joins her, since she can't drink with others. Then, with a playful gesture, it attracts another host towards itself, asking between jokes if your current companion is not enough. After Amzado politely rejects its offer, his handsome partner intervenes gently to comfort the capricious Aika. Masadu sighs silently, relieved that Aika's attention will focus again on the host he chose for that night. He retires to the bottom, reflecting that his inability to flirt makes him rarely choose the clients. Just at that time, a partner surprises him by announcing that he has a request for the client of Table 3. His partner clarifies that it is a usual client, leaving Masadu completely impacted by the unexpected call. He sends it there, the Masadu. He realizes that there is only one person who could be his regular client. It approaches nervous to the reserved, already knowing who awaits it. Formally greet the woman, who turns out to be her companion of the convenience store, Sarah. She looks at him with a complicated expression, mix of shyness and intensity. He notes that it is a repeated visit, but she, nervous, he says he simply had free time. With a slight picara smile, he betrays her, reminding him that he used the same excuse last week. This is Mochuki Sarah, an older woman then for some strange reason continues to ask for her company. He feels some sympathy, thinking that perhaps she also finds exhausting to deal with people in her own work, while the other hosts get noisy. With his clients, Sarah asks him shyly and noticed the uproar. She admits that it is her fault for having requested it, recognizing how ironic it is that an abstemious works in a bar. Sarah gets totally nervous with his affirmative response, departing while he confirms his observation. She rushes to clarify that she is not there in the glasses, but because he is the perfect couple for her. He grants it softly, thanking him to consider him the ideal. With a lovely smile, he admits jokingly that he may be right. He leans towards her, pointing out that although it is difficult to decipher her, he can see that he is a kind person. And another host interrupted them, mocking a panic for being completely dumbfounded with him. He tries to save the situation, saying that she was forced to go for her senpai and had no choice. Then he points out, insisting that he only asked because it was the least terrible option available. Their hard words do not affect him because he simply smiles and tells him that he is happy anyway. He offers to serve him a drink, explaining that although he can only listen, he enjoys hearing his stories. Sarah questions her sincerity, assuming that her kind words are nothing more than part of the work. He turns the matter playful, suggesting that she is the only one that her company would ever ask. She reclines, accepting the joke, admitting that it is the perfect client for someone who does not drink. He observes her with an affectionate expression, genuinely happy to see her relaxed and smiling. He remembers his first visit as he worried then. What makes her happy now is even more significant. With a radiant smile, he expresses her conviction that a woman as beautiful as she deserves to be happy. Embogging by the compliment, she changes quickly, mentioning that she wants to show her something. A strong uproar at another table suddenly interrupts the intimacy of the conversation. Mado, apparently imperturbable, draws his phone and shows him the photo of a nice cat he saw. He smiles from ear to ear while he shows the image, calling the cat his angel and melting her heart with his innocent charm. The story goes back a month, showing Sarah in her overwhelming office work. She tries to arm themselves with value, determined to support the daily routine. But her senpai immediately rebukes her for an error in a document, questioning her competence. Sarah calmly explains that she only followed instructions from another manager, completely confused. The manager denies him blatantly, manipulating her and ensuring that he must have understood badly. Her senpai throws a low blow with arrogance, suggesting that by her personality men avoid her. His companions, who listen closely, begin to murmur about their recent love rejection. The cruel rumor expands. The boy he liked never considered his girlfriend, leaving her totally humiliated. He then remembers his first university boyfriend who despised his feelings and rejected her. He revealed that he already had 2 more girlfriends, completely destroying his heart and confidence. She remembers that relationship, wondering if his happiness was nothing more than a desperate attempt to follow his friends. Overwhelmed by repentance, he collapses in bed, blaming his own foolishness for rupture. The pillow hits furious, reproaching having been so desperate as to lower its standards. From that painful break, he resigned himself to a life of lonely nights and empty comfort. Sliding between endless publications of happy couples, he feels only a deep emptiness. His life becomes a gray and repetitive cycle of sleeping, awakening and working without any joy. Looking at the vacuum, he questions the purpose of his existence, feeling completely alone in the past, the present, and the future. His tedious routine is interrupted when a coworker proposes that they all go to a boys' bar. The companion insists that being surrounded by handsome boys is just what he needs, something that Sarah is exhausting. Although all he wants is to go home to sleep, he feels indebted to his senpai and considers the proposal too reluctantly. Sarah half accepts, to absolute delight of her partner. His friend explains that he just wanted to encourage her, waiting for an exit to do well. The companion hugs her excitedly, while Sarah only hopes to enjoy a little. Upon entering the bar, Sarah is mentalized to maintain an educated conversation before making a quick withdrawal. She had never been in such a place, but she feels forced to follow her friend's kind gesture. An attractive host of clear hair immediately recognizes your partner, greeting it by name. Her friend's attitude changes completely, being totally embebida while greeting her favorite host. Sarah is hit by her partner's flirty tone just when the host asks, "Who will request?" The companion winks with mischief, declaring her absolute devotion for the host she chose. When the boy leads her away, Sarah feels a wave of regret, wishing to be in any other place. Look with discomfort and disbelief, seeing a completely different and coquettish side of its respected senpai. A group of charming hosts makes a spectacular entry, formal welcoming the club clients. Sarah is blushed, and out of the sudden an overwhelming show of professional charm. When sitting, you can't avoid noticing how undeniably attractive they are. Give your drink a sip, trying to convince yourself that maybe this does encourage it. But his cynicism jumps immediately, assuming that they really laugh secretly from their clients. A small puncture of guilt invades her by admitting that, despite her dark thoughts, the hosts remain impeccably professional. With her friend already entertaining, Sarah just wants her assigned host to arrive to be able to leave quickly. Collapsed in the seat, she feels totally without hope, trapped in the cycle of her own negativity. When finally a host sits on his table, he resigns to maintain an educated talk before escaping. A polite voice suddenly interrupts his cynical thoughts, calling her Maddie. When turning, he sees Amzadu, who formally presents himself as his companion of the night. His innocent enchanted the stunned, wondering if he will be some kind of angel. He leans with a kind smile and calls for his name. Its direct but soft shape takes it completely off guard, making it blush. She shows up as Sarah, and he greets her with surprising enthusiasm. His childish charm awakens in her a protective instinct that he didn't even know. Clinging to her drink, she is captivated when she realizes that men really exist. He happily comments that he has the next day free, finding happiness in the simplest things. His innocent enthusiasm for the weekend completely disarms her. He speaks with illusion about her simple plans, and she discovers she is fascinated by that pure and non-filtered joy. A little genuine smile escapes from his lips, a reaction so strange that it hardly recognizes it. He asks her for her day off, and she realizes that this unexpected innocence was what left her so vulnerable. Feeling a surprising comfort, admits with shyness that its greatest hobby are video games. Immediately panic, convinced that now she will see her as another geek girl without a social life. But instead of judging her, his eyes shine with real curiosity, eager to know more. His enthusiastic response moves her to tears when they discover a love shared by the RPG. While he asks for recommendations, his cynical mind doubts, wondering if so much kindness will not only be part of the work. Deciding to ignore those suspicions, take a sip of your drink, solving enjoying the moment. But as the conversation progresses, he is surprised asking why he opens so easily with a stranger. I relieve her anger needing because her boss made her publicly humiliated her by announcing her recent rupture. Staring at your drink, he admits that he already lost his account and blames himself with the whole situation. Mado questions her gently, trying to understand if she was her ex who looked for her first. Sarah confesses that he naively believed that he wanted a real relationship, admitting that he let himself be dragged completely. A painful memory hits her, the time he asked him to leave, and laments not to have seen that alarm signal before. With a self-criticism, he is called dumb for having fallen in his game. Remember how blinding he was for the emotion of his first confession, to the point of ignoring his superb and insincere smile. When it collapses on the table, Masudu sincerely tries to reassure her, assuring him that it was not her fault. She looks at him with bitter expression, resigning to the harsh reality that things are for women. Sarah bitterly declares that women are denied any choice in this world, something that refuses to accept. Masuda's eyes narrowed with a genuine wrath, leaving Sarah surprised by how much she gets angry in her name. He questions the same basis of society, wondering whether the real gender imbalance makes higher men. With a blunt look, he points out how unfair men receive care without any effort. Sarah is deeply moved, realizing that no man who knew never showed him such an empathy. He leans with a disarming smile, confessing that he would like to go out with a kind person like her. His sudden and sincere fulfilled leaves her speechless, very open eyes and the face on in an intense blush. He insists with passion that his ex was an idiot, declaring that any man would be lucky to be with someone as beautiful and good as her. His inner monologue reveals that he has become his angel, inspiring her to strive more just to be worthy of him. All his world now revolves around the image of MDO, the boy who showed him kindness. Lying on the bed, he contemplates his photo on his mobile with a happy and in-love smile, admits for herself that she can no longer imagine a life without him. Sarah is blushing, trying to find him a defect when calling him lanky. His partner betrayed her for flirting, but Sarah denies him frantically, wishing to stay there. Inside, he praises his impeccable appearance, recognizing that he was only desperate to find something bad in him. Overwhelmed by shame, hide the face and apologize for disturbing it. While he comforts her, she in tears forgives for considering himself a pathetic adult. With kindness, he helps her get up, accepting her comment with a playful touch and inviting her back. When his hands are rubbed, his inner monologue confesses his true feelings towards him. His partner is stunned to see her cling to Misato, openly admitting how much he likes it. Sarah recognizes her possessive selfishness, wishing that she did not have to serve other women. MDO a confused look, totally surprised by his sudden statement. She clings desperate, demanding that he only probe for her and rejects the other clients. He gently puts his hand on hers, calming her calmly and assuring him that she is fine. He explains that he only works on Fridays, a detail that she already knows very well. With a sweet smile, he jokes that it is not fair that he asks for it every week without fail. By saying goodbye, she admits to see it only on Fridays is not enough. He warns him that if he is still so charming, he will have no choice but to visit her. Visit it every week. Agitating the hand in goodbye, his mind is consumed by the desire to spend even more time with him. Your partner suddenly grabs it, demanding knowing that it was all that flirt. Sarah panics as her friend annoyed her for taking the step while she paid the account. Her friend refuses playfully to fulfill her request, leaving Sarah ruborizado and begging to forget everything. The companion celebrates the scene fun, anxious to drag a mortified Sarah to her next destination. Sarah reflects on her own behavior, realizing that she can no longer judge her friend's beautified attitudes. He admits that lately life has become more fun, largely thanks to the influence of Masadu. However, he also recognizes the support of his partner, who has been an attentive and supportive friend. Both say goodbye at the train station, promising to be seen on Monday at work. When her friend leaves, Sarah realizes that she became so late that midnight has already passed. Suddenly, he panicked when he reviewed the time and discovered that he lost the last train home. Just then, he sees Masadu walking alone on the street, and his attention immediately focuses on him. Despite knowing that it is wrong and even that it is a crime, it begins to follow it, its obsession erasing any common sense. Masadu stops suddenly and looks back with a slight expression of confusion, as if he had introduced something. Hidden in the corner, Sarah Jadia, terrified that I have seen it. He clings to the chest with fear while he continues to walk, realizing that he was saved by very little of being discovered. With a trembling sigh of relief, his search in your bag while you see it disappear down the street. As soon as his sight is, his legs fail and drops against the wall. Exhausted, the face is covered, disgusted with herself for having fallen so low as to become a stalker. His inner monologue reveals a deep hatred towards herself for her obsessive actions. Following his journey, discover the door of his apartment and read his last name, Cherised, on the plaque. He keeps his address on his mobile, questioning his own sanity, but unable to stop, standing in front of your door, clearly listen to the sound of the shower running inside. A strange euphoric smile is drawn on his face, even while the situation surpasses it. The simple fact that he is at a wall of distance, completely vulnerable, causes him a chill of undeniable emotion. His mind imagines a fantasy in which he confesses in tears how he is. Collapsed in the hall, it is completely consumed by an obsessive feeling that can no longer control. Take out your mobile and start recording, aware that you have crossed a line that is not going back. The scene changes to Amzadu, which receives a package with belongings sent from a reception center. He reflects that in his world he lived in a reception home, but some of those objects are totally unknown. While Aika observes it, he examines a couple of shoes, wondering about the strange coincidences between his past and this new life. He theorizes that he and the version of this world of Katasato, who somehow exchanged places. Aika reassures him by assuring him that, regardless of his past, he is committed to being his tutor. Aika expresses his gratitude for his support. He promises to return his goodness after graduating, which makes Aika smile. She encourages him to enjoy his university life now without worries. Free of charges, MDO reflects on the unknown feeling of having a parental figure. Aika hopes that the other version of MDO has also found someone like her. Mazadu is startled when he realizes that he is late. Check the time with trouble. Kumi prepares for his appointment after having arranged all week. Mazadu apologizes to scare her when she surprises her on the street. Kumi blushed, happy to see the dazzling smile of Mazadu. He halags her for her nice team, making her blush. Naturally, he admits that he always finds her adorable and mentions how limited her own closet. Taking advantage of the occasion, Kumi suggests that they go shopping before going to the movies. The mere fact that he tells her that she always sees her cute causes a shock of emotion. Although he fears being too insistent, he reassures her quickly, telling him he is delighted to go. With a playful tone, it makes its sense of fashion in your hands, asking you to be your personal stylist. Your lovely request leaves something nervous, thinking that he is only bothering her. He recovers immediately, confidently accepting the mission of improving his style. Later, they arrive at the cinema. His shopping excursion was an obvious success. Kumi apologizes for getting too excited, but roars, surrounded by bags. He insists that it was a great help, praising his good taste and making it blush proudly. He comments that she is already ready with new clothes, while she admits to herself how much she enjoyed dressing it in her own way. Within the cinema, Kumi notices how empty it is, realizing that, being during the week, they will have more privacy. He admits that he has no experience with romantic films, while she celebrates internally that they are practically alone. When progress begins, he accommodates himself to look, completely oblivious to his blushed gaze. His inner monologue reveals that he chose that film for a very calculated reason. He secretly hopes that the romantic environment will finally make him see her differently. While he is absorbed on the screen, she watches it, waiting for the perfect moment to act. His hand approaches his, wondering how he would react to his touch. Doubt a moment, thinking if he would forgive such daring action. With a jump of faith, he gently supports his hand on his, hoping that he accepts the gesture in the heat of the moment. Simulates with the movie, a perfect excuse to grab your hand. Motto contains breathing, knowing that if she departs now, she will be shattered. An intense blush covers his face while throwing himself into his bold movement. He just wants to feel his heat, even an instant, imagining a much more intimate hug. For his relief, he does not depart, and his fingers are intertwined softly. The simple heat of her hand makes her heart frantically accelerate. He tries to appear calm, but the only thing he listens is his own runaway heart. They remain together in a comfortable silence, and she expects him to forgive her for being so daring. After the movie, he smiles with a pure brightness, completely moved by romantic history. Although he admits to having shed a tear, she confesses in secret that he did. He happily comments that he enjoyed seeing a new genre, while she hopes in silence that she finally realizes her feelings. With enthusiasm, he asks him to recommend another movie, letting her reflect on her next movement. A blush and happy smile is drawn on his face. His plan was a resounding success. He accepts excited future exits to the cinema, sworn that one day they will be a real couple. His inner monologue reveals a simple and sincere desire, walking hand in hand with him. The next day, she is still lost in a happy dream, reviving every moment of her perfect appointment. She joins her friend Misu in the cafeteria, who greets her happily after keeping a place for lunch. She observes it with a spicy smile while devouring its abundant food. With drama, I declare, today is an important day for victory, leaving Kumi totally confused. Kumi questions the choice of her friend of a heavy kasuden bowl, a meal that is traditionally eaten to have good luck before a great event. My eyes shine when he reveals the true purpose of his victory food. He drama his intention to succeed in love, leaving Kumi completely surprised. Kumi is true by guessing that his crush is cow of the club, while I remember his frequent shared looks. Convinced that he has a real opportunity, my confidence leads Kumi to ask if he plans to confess soon. My defensive, telling her not to make fun just because she is doing so well in love. Kumi cannot hide a presumed smile, what only makes her friend more nervous. Safety, Kumi proposes a future double appointment, but Misuwa fears that such a daring plan is to tempt destiny too much. Destiny, with almost teacher wisdom, Kumi advises him that luck does not wait for anyone. Inspired by those words, I get up suddenly, determined to immediately confess to his crush. While her friend hastened to leave, Kumi is left behind, wondering silently if that impulsive move will end well. Remember the long history of rejections of myself, but it always leaves them behind easily. Feeling that something does not fit with Cow, Kumi decides to take a look, looks out the classroom window, but does not find it. Without surrendering, he is still looking for the empty hall of the school. He prepares to review the next class, hoping to finally locate it. Suddenly, it is paralyzed, its expression hardened by the disbelief of what you have just seen. Cautiously, looks around the corner, trying to remain hidden. Listen to Cow to tell a first-year student who only speaks to him by obligation. Cruelty, he asks if he confused his kindness, leaving her apologizing to a devastated expression. Kumi's eyes narrowed with pure fury, absolutely disgusted by his double face. He dismisses her with contempt, calling his confession a total waste of time. Then the threat to keep silent, reminding him of his place. While Kumi's fury grows, his inner monologue burns, calling him a disgusting being for daring to hurt his friend. He immediately regrets not having recorded all the conversation as proof of his cruelty. A familiar voice interrupts her suddenly, rebuking her for listening to hidden. Kumi turns frustrated, realizing that he lost the perfect opportunity to expose his true nature. In front of her is a discouragement of Mai, clearly newly rejected. Mai explodes in dramatic tears, his confession ending in a spectacular failure. Despite the fresh pain, I recover quickly, regretting that he really thought he had a chance. Kumi smiles warmly at her friend, reflecting that love is never as simple as it seems. It comforts her, assuring her that she deserves something much better and postponing for now her plans of a double appointment. He is gently encouraged to go to his next class before the bell sounds. Misuwa is recomposed with courage, telling Kumi not to wait for his boy as he leaves to calm down. Kumi reflects on her friend's goodness, noticing how I always stay positive and thinks of others, even when she is injured. With a sad smile, Kumi only wants her wonderful friend to find true happiness. Later, Kumi goes to his own class, seeing Misato already sitting in the classroom. Kumi joins him on his desk, thanking him for keeping his seat. While he gives him the class notes, he smiles warmly, explaining that he only returns the favor since she always takes care of him. Kumi lays hard with force while comparing his own intense feelings internally with those of the other girls, praising him in silence. Believing that he is a perfect angel, his thoughts dark up, suddenly focused on who wounded his friend, and intense anger boils inside. Swearing that he will never forgive Kao for what he did, Masadu notes his sudden change of humor and, worried, asks what happened. When listening to the story, Misato's face also twists with disgust and anger. Kumi knows that her friend is too kind to unmask Kao, even if she wants it with all her strength. Look how he continues to cheat everyone with his false charm. He realizes that, with his popularity, no one would believe them in front of him. Feeling a total impotence, squeezes his fist, frustrated by not being able to get justice for her friend. He decides that the only possible revenge is to live a life much happier than his. Mado smiles with mischief, suggesting that the best revenge would be that myself would find someone much better than a nobody like Kao. Kumi tightens even more the fist when coinciding with that poetic justice plan. While Masadu observes her, she sits with a serene expression, wishing only her friend's happiness. He intuits how important Misu is for her, causing a soft, complicit smile in Kumi. A warm memory crosses his mind, both walking together. With a brilliant and genuine smile, confirm the deep of their friendship. Later, while walking alone, she reaffirms that my most valuable friend is. His thoughts are brutally interrupted when someone pushes her from behind, shouting aggressively. He falls to the ground, with tears forming in his eyes through the shock and pain of that sudden attack. In front of her, they stop shining dress shoes, belonging to her still invisible aggressor. A quiet voice asks if it is well, in marked contrast with the violent push. The scene back, revealing that it was Moore who found her. While reflecting on her desire for happiness for her friend, her mind slips towards an idealized vision of romance, where love is something wonderful and beautiful. He remembers his younger self, that he desperately yearned for that dazzling spark to fall in love. His romantic ideals were molded by stories and media that always showed love as a beautiful experience. But in reality, he was questioning the true meaning of love and affection. He admits that he finds some attractive men, but he never felt that deep and throbbing connection that he so longed for. Instead, he loaded with the overwhelming weight of social pressure to settle for someone who was good enough, convinced that this was his only option. He decided to follow the same path as everyone else, that led her to desperately pursue relationships, believing that she should put all the effort only to be noticed. Kumi sighs, internally questioning the tremendous arrogance of the boy who wounded his friend. Imagine his haughty thoughts, asking him coldly why he should charge with someone else's feelings. Checking that the other rejected girl leaves, breathes relief. Back with Mai, her surprisingly admits friend who is not angry, because she partially understands. He confesses that he didn't really want to go out with him. He was just desperate to have a boyfriend. He quickly changes his mind with a dramatic turn, expressing his envy for Kumi's love life. Upon listening to her, Kumi feels a stab of guilt, admitting that she is also guilty for having similar thoughts. Then try to soften the atmosphere, joking with causing some drama in the next romantic attempt of Mai. With renovated optimism, Kumi declares that the time has come to find a much better boy. But remembering Chao's cruel words, his determination wobbles, leaving her confused and uneasy. His security facade collapses when he drops under a desk, overwhelmed by his contradictory emotions. Tears travel their face while consumed by a wave of self-pity and frustration. Later, he tries to subtract importance from his emotional torment, calling him simply dizziness, a fragile excuse for his internal chaos. It is recriminated by its weakness, feeling pathetic for letting the cruelty of another affect it so deeply. Desperate by rapid relief, wandering around the station looking for some medication for its discomfort, finds a strange comfort in its own invisibility, relieved that no one in the crowd notice its anguish. He questions his own sanity, wondering why he is so devastated by a rejection that he was not even his. With an ironic smile, he admits that his mental strength is zero if a few words and teeth can collapse it completely. His reflection is interrupted suddenly by a sudden revelation that makes her stop dry. While a tear is hurried, he realizes that he is no longer alone. His private moment has been interrupted. A strong push makes it staggered forward, surprised. The other girl cruelly rebukes her while Kumi falls to the ground, shrinking with pain for the impact. In panic, he realizes that the blow made him lose his contact lenses, completely clouding his vision. Unable to see, he desperately apologizes to the people around them, explaining their situation. While looking blind on the floor, girl who pushed her and her friends only observe her and whisper. She continues to apologize to passersby, feeling the weight of everyone's judgment. Overwhelmed by humiliation, he feels that his pathetic state is exposed to the entire world. A kind voice cuts his despair, asking if he is fine. When thinking about the terrible of his day, he looks like his eyes full of tears and sees kneaded on her with an expression of concern. His mind evokes his idealized image, his personal angel always ready to save her. He kneels immediately next to her, offering to help her find the lost lens. She thanks her from tears, her blurred vision preventing him from recognizing her kind rescuer. A wave of shame floods it, blushing deeply by being so vulnerable. In his eyes, he is a brilliant hero, diligently looking on the ground to save her from his hurry. Mortified by his face full of tears, he tries to hide, convinced that he looks pathetic before him. She is amazed that someone stops to help someone so miserable. Thought that only makes her feel worse. The noise of the bustling platform fades, replaced by the thunderous beat of his own heart. Moments before, the world had seemed an unbearable and overwhelming weight. While both look for their hands, they are scarce centimeters, creating a tacit connection moment. At that moment, the station full of people and all those looks judging it seemed to fade, only both being left. The girls who pushed her leave without taking a second look, leaving Kumi and Masadu looking for a life. After a moment, the Masadu voice cuts its despair when it announces triumphant that found it. He holds the tiny lens with an expression of pure relief, genuinely happy to have found him for her. He offers it carefully, and she only observes it, even processing that unexpected act of goodness. With a soft smile, he reminds him of being careful, his concern making the moment feel even more unreal. Upon receiving the lens, she feels overwhelmed by her kindness, babbling thanks. He asks about the other lens, but she clarifies that only one fell. In his mind, he compares him comically with receiving a precious jewel. A new panic wave invades her by realizing all the problems she got into. It mortifies when thinking that it could have continued with a single eye, which makes its heroic rescue seem completely unnecessary. However, he smiles radiant, completely oblivious to his internal and happy crisis that he is fine. It offers to help her find a mirror, but she insists that she is fine, without wanting to be more load. With a last friendly warning to be careful, her kindness leaves her completely captivated. He makes a friendly gesture and turns around to leave, taking it totally by surprise. While he leaves, he tells him to stay with the handkerchief he had given him, leaving his heart beating 1,000 in confusion. Suddenly, he panicked that he did not even ask his name. It is frozen, feeling a complete disaster. Observing how his dazzling figure disappears among the crowd, he feels he loses his chance. Alone, squeeze the handkerchief against his chest and reproach his indecision. Overwhelmed by repentance, he drops to the ground, furious for not even asking his name. He realizes that with his name, he would have had the perfect excuse to see him again when he returned his handkerchief. The scene changes abruptly, returning to the family sign of the festival. Masadu bursts through the door loading supplies, apologizing to being late. A partner welcomes him, while a surprised Miso asks why he is working one day that is not Friday. Miso suddenly approaches to fix his hair, leaving a confused one wondering what he does, then hugs him triumphantly, proudly celebrating his successful attempt to comb it. Leaning down, he explains that he thought that new look would look good, admitting that a veteran host helped her. A partner jokes by asking another host, Yusukura, if he was injured, noticing a mark on his neck. Yusukura proudly declares that the brand was made by his girlfriend, as far as Masadu reflects that the mentality of this host is the most normal of all there. A veteran host orders everyone to return to work and voluntarily offers the task of replenishing supplies. Masadu praises him internally, respecting him for being genuinely friendly and not arrogant with women. While cleaning the bathroom, think of the girl he helped, regretting having left her so abruptly. While accommodating the toilet paper, their thoughts are still wandering towards the girl from the station, waiting for it to be well. The scene changes to Kumi, who looks up with a deeply emotional and determined expression. Masadu remembers the reason for his tears, recalling that he was shattered for losing his contact lens. After finishing cleaning, he prepares to sign the task list and realizes that he lacks his pen. Just then, a partner tells you urgently to prepare to attend a client. He immediately deduces that he must be his only habitual client, Sarah. Adjusting his tie, It seems strange that he visits it one day that is not Friday. He cares about his messy hair, thinking about what impression he will give. In her mind, imagine that she will be totally disappointed in her careless appearance. Masadu approaches her table and calls her by name, but she refuses to look at him. Go for sure to your table, ready to start your turn as your host. He finds them sitting alone, with an air totally dejected and disconnected from the world. When joining her, he immediately perceives that something is not going well with her usual mood. With a determined smile, he intends to lift his spirit as his personal mission. Seeing her with the head down, that must have had another terrible day at work. He explains his informal outfit, admitting that he was not scheduled to attend that day. She confesses that she saw him enter the club by chance as he made a message. Nervous, he asks his opinion about his new hairstyle, admitting that a veteran did. He simply nods with a soft smile, reassuring her with that silent statement. Perceiving its anguish, it encourages it to open, creating a safe space to speak. With a radiant smile, he confesses that he genuinely enjoys his conversations. As always, overwhelmed by her kindness, she breaks, burying her face in her hands and apologizing over and over again. Drying a tear, he confesses that he saw something that left her deeply affected. His repeated apologies leave him completely confused, without understanding what he could be asking for forgiveness. A flashback reveals the source of his pain. He saw him being kind to another girl at the station. His memory transforms that simple act of goodness into a scene taken from a romantic novel. Go to the girl from the station as the princess of history, knowing, for the first time to his lovely prince, that perfect fairy tale moment forces her to question her own insignificant role in the narrative. From distance, he observes herself as a simple background character, an extra unimportant that admires the male protagonist without hope. His hand closes strongly as he internally rejects that passive and insignificant role. His mind falls into a frantic spiral of denial, refusing to be erased from history. With desperate possessiveness, he clings to the idea that it is she who should be with Masadu. Remember the disheveled aspect of the other girl, lighting a spark of hope that may still have a chance. That hope is instantly destroyed with a wave of self-procurement for its jealous and cruel thoughts. He resigns to be a secondary character, condemned to feel eternal jealousy of the heroine who keeps the prince. With a shrunk heart, he finally confesses to Masadu, who ended up following him. He remembers his internal conflict, knowing that what he was doing was wrong, but unable to release the information he had gathered. His mind torments her with jealous fantasies, imagining questioning him about the other girl. Overwhelmed by those dark thoughts, he takes his head with both hands, unable to spin a coherent phrase. Masada's voice crosses his panic, reassuring her gently and assuring him that everything is fine. Place a comforting hand on your shoulder, trying to anchor it to the present. Calmly, he tells him that whatever he feels, he is sure that she is not to blame. With a kind and confident smile, she reaffirms her belief that she is a good person. Her unwavering kindness is too much for her and turns, muttering another apology, finally collapses, apologizing for everything, for having followed it, to see it with the other girl, and for the horrible jealousy that consumed it. Overwhelmed by its own confession, hides the face, whispering another apology. His internal monologue reveals his terror, convinced that he would die if he came to hate her. In a desperate movement, hugs it strongly, convinced that she is the worst woman in the world. Masadu is completely stunned by the sudden gesture, without knowing how to react. His hand clings to his jacket, a desperate grip that reveals the depth of his emotional agitation. He returns the hug softly, trying to comfort her by reaffirming her faith in her goodness. But his self-esteem only intensifies, convinced of having discovered a terrible and selfish truth about herself. His mind distorts his image, transforming his internal monologue into a reproach, blaming him for his current state. He hates himself instantly for that thought, recognizing that he only tries to flee his own guilt. His ideas conclude that he is responsible for making her fall so deep and losing all control. His internal monologue twists in a dark desire, not only to claim it, but to destroy it completely. With his hands on his back, he decides to apologize in advance, so he knows he is about to do a chilling smile. He is drawn on his lips while whispering one last and ominous apology. His mind darkens when he swears herself who will never let him go. The scene changes to Kumi, who observes the handkerchief and the pen he left at the station. Sitting in her room, she turns the pen, feeling a strange familiarity with him. His eyes open in par for suddenly the printed logo on the side. He squeezes it strongly, giving himself disbelief that it is a pen of his own university. A hopeful smile extends down his face as he wonders if that means they are companions. Overpretted by emotion, it drops into bed, laughing nervously because of its incredible luck. He squeezes the pen against his chest, his heart beating with a spark of emotion he had never felt. The scene returns to Sarah Farida Amarda, her twisted idea of destiny seizing her in a dark shadow. Returning with Kumi, he smiles, convinced that the threads of his destiny are finally moving in an unexpected direction. Then, Miso listens with sarcastic tiredness, while Kumi declares that his encounter was an inevitable destiny. The narrative reminds us that this occurs shortly after the hard, romantic rejection of Mai. Kumi does not stop talking about how real the destination must be, while Mio, nervous and blushed, just wants to worry about before. Misawa explains that from the incident, Kumi is convinced that his rescuer is a prince formed. Remember how much my rejection affected her, how difficult it was to see her friend so destroyed by her. Despite being exhausted from listening to the same story again and again, Miso admits that he is happy in the background. Kumi reflects on her friend's situation, wondering if it was the first time that Miso found someone who could really fall in love. Kumi dramatically declares that he has had many loves as a child, but insists that this time it is different, which is finally experiencing true love. Then, playful, he reveals that he was just joking, leaning near a blushed Miso. With renewed determination, he asks for his friend for help to find his mysterious rescuer. Kumi nicknames her with her Watson, for her friend's irritation. Miso points to the obvious defect of his plan. He doesn't even remember his face. He explains that the university pen is a common article that delivers all new students, which makes it a useless track. Kumi insists that he will recognize him immediately, remembering vaguely that he had hairstyle back. It gives a motivational speech to her friend, declaring that surrendering is not an option, leaving Miso confused by the sudden harangue. Kumi imagines herself as the grateful crane of an old legend, determined to return her goodness, while I comment with irony that her friend lives in a fairy tale. Kumi squeezes the handkerchief, explaining his plan to use it as the perfect excuse to see his rescuer again. His search is interrupted when he receives a mass ado message inviting her to join him for the next class. I observe myself with a thoughtful look and slightly suspicious. Kumi reflects that he previously kept her friends away from Masadu, but now she feels that it is sure to introduce him to Mai. He admits to feel guilty for having isolated Masadu, realizing that his positivity left him without friends. With new confidence, he invites a surprised Mai Thing to join her and needed in her next lesson. I face her, questioning why she can suddenly meet the boy who had her so long away. Kumi's internal monologue reveals his true fear. He is convinced that no one can resist Masato's charm for more than 30 seconds. Despite the strange logic of her friend, my eyes shine with emotion before the perspective of knowing him. He pretends a face of annoyance, but inside he admits that he loves the unexpected invitation. Blomia saying that love can ruin a person, leaving Kumi, he accuses her of making fun of her. Miso admits that he had always wanted to meet Kumi's boy, while a nervous Kumi insists that they are not dating. Kumi begs her friend not to say anything weird, but my proud promises to become her official promotion ambassador. With a determined look, Miso grabs Kumi from the shoulders, encouraging her to confess her feelings at once. Kumi laughs and discards the advice of her friend, telling her that she gets in her own affairs. He sends a message inviting Masadu to join them in class, and he accepts immediately. Masadu feels relieved that Kumi is still so united to her friends, happy that she is presenting her to her circle. Upon arriving at the classroom, he remembers the concern that she could be isolation because of her. Kumi proudly presents an enthusiastic my one in front of a curious mass. When Kumi calls him with his hand, Masadu looks beyond her and finally meets the friend who has heard so much. He presents her best friend, Mai, with a theatrical gesture. Masadu is immediately impressed by the unique beauty of myself, wondering if this world is full of dazzling women. The serious expression of Miso is broken by being completely captivated by the appearance of Masadu. Kumi then turns the situation around with pride to his Katsudo Masadu friend. He warmly greets myself, mentioning that Kumi has spoken a lot about her. His friendly greeting meets an uncomfortable silence of both girls. Masadu panic immediately, wondering if his casual tone sounded too daring or even strange. Kumi notices the strange reaction of her friend calling her with concern. Miso wakes up suddenly, surprised and excited to finally meet him. He leans to observe him more closely, confirming that he is indeed very handsome for Kumi's despair. Miso is formally presented, extending his kuntet hand. His direct personality entertains him and finds him quite animated. Kumi observes with annoyance as Miso blatantly ignores his previous warnings. Without flinching, I show up again with a brilliant and cozy smile. Masadu shakes his hand with education while exchanging formal greetings. When he feels his hand, he is surprised at how small and delicate he is. Simple contact leaves something bewildered with a thoughtful expression on the face. Note your small figure, realizing that it is even smaller than Kumi. His cheerful but apparently fragile character arouses a strange sense of protection. His energy takes it completely off guard, as if it were a surprise exam. After class, Miso and Masadu thank Kumi for sharing his valuable notes. Suddenly, Kumi stops, realizing that he forgot something important. He asks them to remain without her, but Masadu kindly insists on waiting. Miso is immediately offered to load with Kumi's bag, helping her friend. Kumi accepts grateful and runs back to the classroom, leaving him alone. Masadu suggests looking for a bank to wait, and myself, excited, guides it. While waiting, I praise the incredible kindness of Masadu for staying. He is confused by the fulfillment, convinced that waiting for a friend is only common courtesy. Mai, however, is deeply impressed, sure of having seen the heart of a true gentleman. Sitting outside, she suddenly turns to him, ready to ask him a question. With serious expression, Miso announces that he has something important to say. It adopts a dramatic pose, creating suspense before its great revelation. When observing it, his face is twisted, completely unsuspecting for what he is about to listen. With a hopeful and brilliant expression, he asks her to help her find her destined partner. Eclectic, Masadu accepts to help, asking the most basic, the name. She vaguely explains that her love is probably aimed at a first-year student, leaving him even more confused. For complete disbelief, she winks with mischief and admits that she doesn't really know the boy's name. He insists on asking for more details, but she happily recognizes that she knows almost nothing, frustrating him with his vague request. Finally, he offers a track, describes his mysterious man like someone with hair behind. Masadu reflects on the strange of that characteristic, while Miso adds that his height is similar to his. I throw a quick and thoughtful look needed with a flash of recognition in the eyes. Internally, he is familiar to his voice, but immediately discards the strange, desperate sensation. She begs him to use his social network to find his mysterious man, reminding him that he is Kumi's boy. He hesitates, wanting to help but without knowing how, which makes her worry about being too demanding. Shame, Masadu lowers his head and confesses that he has no friends to ask. Myo is surprised by confession, although he remembers hearing that it was a late transfer with few acquaintances. When Kumi returns, Miso thanks his help needing, although secretly he fears having bother. Despite the rarity, a radiant smile is drawn on Miso's face when he is enjoying. Kumi returns and finds Miso excitedly announcing the aid of Masadu, although he admits not having clues. Walking together, Kumi reflects on how well they get along, waiting for the three to remain friends. When saying goodbye at the station, Kumi feels a wave of emotion for his renewed university life. I realize that she and Masadu take the same train, feeling a blame puncture for leaving Kumi behind. Taking advantage of the moment, I decides to investigate and asks Masadu for his relationship with Kumi. He simply smiles, explaining that he believes that Kumi is a very friendly person. She presses him as a joke to say more, but he insists that they are only friends and nothing else. He explains that he is only grateful for his goodness when he was new and had no one, and that he wants to honor that. Miso looks at him with skepticism in finding difficult to believe its purely platonic explanation. He quickly realizes, for his genuine smile, that he is completely oblivious to Kumi's romantic feelings. From distance, Kumi observes them to move away, seeing myself laughing at his interrogation. And as far as Masadu goes ahead, I call him playfully Pink, sighing for how clueless he is while silently wishes his friend. My eyes open in par, their expression full of disbelief. Masadu sees her and calls her, noticing her altered state. Mai tries to hide the face, ashamed that they see it, so vulnerable. Kao and Satsuki approach, revealing in their conversation a cruel contempt for the feelings of Mai. Satsuki comforts a first-year student with a broken heart, while Kao blames my situation for the situation. Masadu asks me to leave, perceiving the tension and wanting to protect her. Kao causes her, with words full of poison and contempt. Mai struggled to stand up, his legs trembling while he tries to rebuild. Masadu reflects on his nascent friendship, disappointed by Kato's behavior. I contain the tears, determined to maintain composure despite humiliation. Internally, I swear not to feel so pathetic again. Convinced that she is nothing more than a strange in history, Masadu faces Kao, admitting that he does not know all the details, but demanding that he retire his cruel words. Kao's internal monologue cruelly rules out, convinced that no one would go out with her. Masadu proudly presents himself as my friend, while Kao makes fun of the idea that he could be his boyfriend. Masadu refutes the insult furious, insisting that I am incredibly beautiful. I look up, with my eyes shining with emotion. Completely hit by his fierce defense, he reiterates that although he does not know all the details, he is clear that Kao's comment was wrong. Looking at Mai with a warm smile, he declares that it is beautiful both in appearance and personality. Kao, arrogant, claims to have a higher position just because she confessed a logic that leaves needed. Overwhelmed by his actions, Miso praises him internally as a wonderful and big-hearted person. His internal monologue insists that Masadu is wrong, believing that whoever receives confession always has power. He tells herself that there is no reason for him to get angry for her, since it is of the guy who quickly exceeds these things. Despite his rationalizations, a deep blush extends along his face, completely overwhelmed by his passionate defense. Kao makes fun asking if Masadu would really go out with her, but he responds sharp that he would never compare her with her exploited as Kao. By the replica, a frustrated Kao barely manages to call him an idiot. Finishing the conversation, Masadu taking hand to a stunned Miso and separates her from the scene. Kao and Setsuki watch them move away, with Setsuki insisting their friend to let him be. While the guide in the hall, I look at him still trying to assimilate his bold reaction. When stopping, she apologizes right away, worried about having caused problems. He admits that he acted impulsively, but she reassures him quickly, grateful for her intervention. He apologizes again, feeling worse for having dragged him to his mess than by rejection itself. He tries to encourage her, offering to invite him a drink, but she panicked inside, remembering that he is the boy who likes Kumi. A soft envy smile crosses her face while admitting her friend's jealous to herself. Reflect on how lucky Kumi is to be able to like someone so wonderful. Putting a brave mask, Miso laughs at the shameful moment and thanks him for his help. He confesses that he would never have declared known Kao's true nature, trying to convince himself that he is well feeling injured. Despite his hard facade, he acknowledges that no one could remain indifferent to such cruel words. Masadu gently places a hand on his shoulder, seeing through his cheerful facade and recognizing his pain. Embarrassed by the intimate of the moment, he announces suddenly that he will buy drinks and runs out. Sola, I collapse on the floor just when Kumi arrives with her friends, without finding out of recent drama. Misawa questions his own weakness, admitting that his kindness hurts in his heart. He knows that he must suppress his feelings, remembering that he belongs to his best friend. Unable to contain himself, he collapses, overwhelmed by the impossible of the situation. In his mind, he apologizes again and again with Kumi, consumed because of betraying his friendship. It gives account with pain of how incredibly difficult and complicated love can be. The scene changes on Friday, one day that a new character had been looking forward to. A chibi-style flashback shows a first-year student complaining about the exhausting events of the last week. A girl named Yuka holds a basketball ball, hoping to be able to play today with her favorite senpai. His friend complains that the first year, they always touch all the heavy tasks of the club. Yuka admits that he doesn't care about work if he means that he can see his senpai after class. Her friend suddenly asks where she escapes every Friday, leaving Yuka totally nervous. The friend immediately jumps to conclusions, mocking that her reaction means to. He has a secret boyfriend. Yuka insists that her relationship is innocent, but her dream smile betrays her clearly. Intrigued, her friends decide to follow her after class to take a look at that mysterious boy. Yuka panic, begging that. Desperately, they do not follow her and ruin her plans. Internally, he worries that if they see how great it is, they will all begin to approach him. Knowing that he is too kind to reject them, he fears that his special time to just end forever. His thoughts are interrupted when he greets nervous to a second-year senpais group. A confident girl with her arms crossed looks at her with a haughty smile, asking him if he is having fun. Yuka mentally identifies her as her intimidating mentor she hates, just when she asks if she has a boyfriend. Yuka is annoying while her friends speculate that her secret love must be ugly. Senpai says goodbye with coldness and leaves with a student, leaving Yuka watching them. Her friends run by her side, asking her if she is fine and commenting on the unpleasant attitude of the mentor. Yuka boils inside, disgusted that her senpai took her boyfriend just to show off. Upon getting home, he squeezes his fist, swearing that he will never forgive the mentor for insulting her brother. Wait with eager to see him, sure that his presence will disappear all his problems. Nervous holds one of his shirts, blushing when trying to capture his aroma. His thoughts deviate towards a towel that asks him to realize that he must return it. When holding it, it is invaded by a wave of pure happiness, its face lighting with emotion. He marvels internally from how strong his aroma is still, feeling that he melts even if the towel is already washed. Justify his actions, deciding that a last moment with the towel does not hurt before washing it. Her private moment breaks when her mother enters, caught her totally off guard. Calmly, his mother reminds him that he was only taking the bottle of water he had asked, leaving Yuka ashamed. After receiving it, Yuka runs to practice, while her mother stays thinking about the weather. It reaches the basketball court, receiving it the family sound of a ball by driving while opening the fence. Internally, he promises to challenge his brother, just to be distracted instantly because of how great he looks. The sea turns towards her with a warm smile, happy that she has finally reached her game. While she leaves her bag, her mind divagates in her unique relationship. It treasures the way it calls it by name without any title, seeing it as a close signal. His expression becomes serious when he tightened his fist, noting that he is ready to play. She declares with courage that they are rivals, telling her not to be contained. Yuka regrets the formal tone instantly, while he only laughs. He smiles radiantly, happily accepting his conditions. She observes it, completely captivated by her cheerful response. He tells her that she will take her usual place, and she celebrates inside emotion. Anxious to start, he prepares to play, overflow with happiness. He reminds him firmly that he must first heat, remembering his clumsy fall of the previous week. She accesses without hesitation, finding her tender and charming seriousness. The sound of a ball bouncing marks the beginning of his game one by one. Yuka makes a quick movement to pass it, taking it by surprise with its speed. With a determined jump, Yuka turns the ball, easily overcoming his brother's defense. He admits that he was really trying to block it, impressed by how quickly his abilities are improving. Full of joy for her praise, she raises her fists, her face shining with pride. He smiles, warning him in a joke that may recover his old place on the court. Full of renewed trust, she looks at him and declares that of course he will. His game is cut suddenly when an unexpected awaiting begins that surprises both. They run quickly to take refuge, observing how the rain completely soaks the basketball court. He asks if she has a towel, and she timidly confirms that yes, with her eyes open in advance. His thoughts panic when he noticed that his shirt soaked has become transparent. Fully blushed, the mouth is covered, finding the unexpected vision too overwhelming. He calls her by name, confused by his sudden strange behavior. Looking towards the rain, confirms that they will have to stop the game for now. Yuka hides the face in the towel, with an accelerated mind and agitated breathing. Imagine his brother's disgust if he ever discovered that he was looking at him. Only the thought of her rejection immerses her in an absolute state of panic. When he approaches to review it, she fights desperately against the impulse of looking at him. Softly, it's your forehead to check if you have a fever, asking if you feel good. Overwhelmed by its proximity, it feels that the heart will explode with so much intensity. Then he puts his own shirt on his shoulders to help her heat. With a quiet smile, he explains that it is better than anything to fight the cold. He apologizes for just being able to offer that, suggesting that they wait for the rain to pass. While they remain together under the storm, her heart beats more and more uncontrolled. Wrapped in his shirt and so close to him, he feels that he is completely absorbed by his presence. He squeezes her wet pants, and she feels as if she were being completely consumed by him. Suddenly he turns towards her and asks what happens to her. He makes a strange request, asking him to turn a moment, which only confuses her. A sudden splash and a noise makes her turn again, wondering what is happening. He realizes that he is squeezing his wet shirt, which leaves her in pure shock. In a panic attack, he tries to stop him, convinced that he brought a spare shirt. He, without a shirt, asks him to wait. But she is paralyzed, terrified of turning and seeing it. Yuka argues internally, convinced that any girl in her place would be unable to look away. His eyes remain fixed on him as he deals with his soaked clothes. Take a hesitant step forward, with an accelerated mind to the possibility of shortening the distance. Her imagination flies with possessive thoughts, believing that no one would blame her for wanting to approach more. Just when he is about to act, he finds his spare shirt and his rose hand accidentally. That unexpected contact makes it staggered back, falling into a nearby bank. His mother's voice crosses his thoughts, revealing that all that intense moment was only in his head. The narrative concludes that, in the end, Yuka was too cowardly to act according to his feelings. The scene changes to the women's basketball club, where the voice of a friend praises Yuka's skills. Her companions surround her, congratulating her for having achieved a starting position in the official party. Yuka smiles radiant, thanking the support of her companions in her first debut as a starter. His celebration is interrupted when a veteran summons the first-year players. She feels the weight of the responsibility determined to win by her companions who failed to enter. However, a veteran immediately represents them, Light saying that they did not clean the gym floor well. The intimidating mentor questions her work, blaming them with possible injuries to other teams. Despite knowing that they did the thorough cleaning, the first year have no choice but to accept to do it again. Yuka squeezes his fist with frustration, realizing that he is nothing more than shameless harassment of veteran. The mentor indicates it directly, and Yuka is arms of value, deciding to endure the unfair treatment. But the veteran gets aggressive, kicks a bank, and warns Yuka not to become arrogant for her new position. With coldness, he rules out Yuka's success as mere favoritism of the coach, leaving her completely defeated. Yuka realizes that the obsession of the mentor to knock her down comes from pure envy for a position she never had. The veteran and her friend leave with a derogatory look, interactive, completely ignoring the first year. While practicing, Yuka wonders why veteran do not simply train harder instead of wasting time with harassment. On the way home, he concludes that the complicated social policy of school clubs is simply exhausting. He reaches the basketball court for his usual practice, just to find it completely empty. Deciding to train alone, try to shake the persistent discomfort of the previous confrontation. He attributes his recent improvement and his place in the team entirely to his brother's dedicated training. With a slight blush, he decides to imitate his movements, driven by the deep admiration he feels for him. His concentration is exacerbated by remembering every detail of his style of play. Having memorized each of his gestures, he executes with skill a series of complex dribbling techniques, perfectly imitating his brother's shape. With a speed burst, progress by throwing the ball with the look fixed on the basket. It jumps through the air, giving grace after a perfectly practiced movement. Drying sweat, he admits that he still fails to master the difficult shot in fadeaway. His thoughts deviate towards his brother, amazed at how easy he makes that same movement. With a determined smile, take the ball, ready to try again. His lonely practice is suddenly interrupted when a group of students enters the court. One of the girls comments arrogance about having found a good place, calling Yuka's attention. The group is approaching, and one of them points out that Yuka is already using the court. Yuka's eyes open in panic by recognizing one of the boys, wondering why he is there. They greet her with mockery disguised as praise for her constancy, and she returns their greeting with nervousness. Yuka's heart sinks when she realizes that her friends followed her to the court. The veteran suggests that they also practice there, while Yuka panics inside, wishing to leave. When trying to leave, the veteran grabs her wrist tightly, preventing her from escaping. The oldest leans towards her, questioning her cold attitude with a condescending smile. With a threatening grimace, he insists that they all practice together, leaving Yuka with no other option to accept. The veteran mocks a breathless Yuka, questioning if it really has sufficient resistance for a real party. The game continues, totally exhausted. Yuka struggles to recover your breath, having lost all notion of time. Her stalkers observe her with mocking satisfaction as she wonders how long she has been running. He realizes that veteranas take breaks while she is the only one forced to practice without stopping. The mentor approaches with a ball, sarcastically inviting the first-year star to a 2-match against 2. Fully drained, Yuka bends forward, despairing a single drop of water. The mentor orders him to start the game, immediately putting it to the offensive. He quickly realizes that his own companion has no intention of helping her, turning the game into a cruel trap of 2 against 1. With a determination start, Yuka tries to drive and overcome the aggressive defense of the veteran. The 2 elderly contain her, blocking each of her movements with skill. Legs finally give in for exhaustion, while the mentor torments her by suggesting her to retire from the team. Another girl shouts to consider the feelings of the mentor, pointing towards the bank. Yuka's eyes look at the mentor's boyfriend, who observes the entire show with a boring expression. The scene changes at team meeting, where the final substitutes are announced. While reading the names, someone calls Yuka, and she turns with an expression of apprehension. Remember a friendly veteran, Ayako, who always supported her. In a flashback, Ayako congratulates Yuka with warmth for entering the starting team. Yuka remembers how inspired he felt, even when he had occupied Ayako's post. The memory fades and returns to the harsh reality of the mentor shouting while Yuka, exhausted, barely endures. The cruelty of the mentor's scale when it pushes it strongly, making it fall to the ground of the court. Broken by the teasing, Yuka struggles to breathe, wondering why he should endure such a torment. She clings to the only thought that keeps her standing, her simple and pure love for basketball. The veteran bows to it, mocking their inability to get up and questioning their skills. Thrown on the ground, admits for herself that she has no strength and that she cannot move. Despite exhaustion, a spark of challenge ignites as long as it swears not to lose against people like that. Tears run through his face, but his eyes burn with the determination not to be broken. A new voice interrupts the torment, commenting with dryness the twisted idea of fun of the group. Yuka's eyes open in surprise when he recognized his brother, Masadu, arriving as a guardian angel. The story goes back to that same morning, showing Masato checking his phone just after waking. Read her messages, remembering a conversation with Kumi that she was at the softball club. Seeing a Yuka message, it invades a feeling of pride and protection towards her younger sister. She reflects on this new feeling, wondering if that is the bond that the brothers should share. Motivated for her dedication, she fears losing against her soon and decides to go to exercise himself. As you approach the court, you are surprised to see that your sister is not practicing alone. The scene returns to the confrontation, where a veteran points to Yuka, visibly exhausted, so that he sees her. Masadu observes from a distance, immediately realizing that it is not a friendly practice. He sees the unfair 2 game against 1, his discomfort growing by confirming that something is very bad. He doubts a moment next to the fence, worried about interfering whether he misunderstood the situation. That hesitation is a serious mistake when witnessing the mentoring aggressively pushes her sister. Masadu bursts into the court with Fury's face, while a cassava in tears looks at him relieved. The mentor and her friend carefully face him, questioning who she is and why she interrupts her practice. He fulminates them with his eyes, his voice dripping contempt when pointing out his cruel concept of training. Yuka observes it amazed from the ground, realizing that it is the first time he sees his truly angry brother. Ignoring the stalkers, Masadu kneels and offers his sister a bottle of water, telling him to rest. He apologizes softly to be late, his silent concern causing a blush on Yuka's cheeks. Despite the horrible situation, Yuka's heart is agitated with joy simply for having his brother there. The mentor faces with Masadu, demanding to know what he expects to achieve defending Yuka. The veteran try to justify their actions, claiming that they were only testing Yuka's physical condition. She denies it desperately, while the mentor insists that the problem is her lack of skill. Yuka inside, he accuses them of resorting to dirty tactics because they could not overcome it in a fair match. Masadu asks him with tenderness if he can still play after resting, opening a drink. With a confident smile, he encourages her to show the veteran her true strength. He pats on his head with tenderness, and a determined cassava accepts the challenge he has just raised. The mentor makes fun of the disadvantage, but Masadu proposes a game of 2 against 2, even promising not jumping. The veteran smiles sufficiently, underestimating them due to the height difference, and accepts the unequal encounter. Masadu imposes the conditions. If they win, the veteran must recognize the position of Yuka as headline. The mentor counterattacks with a cruel condition, demanding that Yuka leave the team if they lose. Yuka hesitates, trapped between her position won with effort and the enormous pressure of the bet. Masadu throws an unwavering confidence look, telling him in silence that he believes in his skills. Strengthened by that trust, Yuka squeezes the teeth and reluctantly accepts the dangerous terms. He stands up, accepting the challenge with courage and declaring that they have no intention of losing. When preparing to start on the offensive, Yuka realizes that his brother already has a strategy in mind. The mentor and her friend immediately throw themselves with Masadu between two, trying to stop it from the beginning. Yuka notes that his opponents are some of the best players, but Masadu remains imperturbable. With a speed start, Masadu dribbles effortlessly beyond the two defenders, leaving them behind. The mentor scolds furious to her companions, surprised by the incredible speed of Masadu. Yuka observes it with admiration, realizing that his brother's skills are at another level. She jumps at the exact moment, receiving the perfectly directed pass from him. His eyes open concentration when catching the ball, ready to act. Masadu attracts the attention of the defense with skill before passing the ball to his unmarked sister. The other veteran runs to block it, but Yuka is already one step forward. The mentor squeezes the teeth of pure frustration, unable to stop the coordinated attack. With grace and safety, Yuka fits easily, scoring the first points of the game. Masadu smiles confident, raising two fingers to point out his early advantage. Abisonas remains stunned and frustrated, without knowing how to counteract the impeccable coordination of the brothers. Yuka recognizes his fatigue, but realizes that playing next to his brother is too fun to stop. The brothers collide their hands with smiles that radiate the pure joy of their impeccable teamwork. While Moore encourages his sister to look for another point, the mentor fulminates them with her eyes, determined to stop her next play. Yuka understands that Masadu could have scored only in the previous attack, but chose to trust her, attracting the defenders before passing the ball. With the ball in his hands, Yuka promises to demonstrate his own strength and prove that all his training has been worth it. The mentor is breathless and confused to see how Yuka's sudden skill display leaves her behind. Yuka rises through the air and turns on another perfect shot, demonstrating that his effort paid off. The mentor and her boyfriend are completely stunned. Her face is turned into disbelief masks. The veteran enter chaos, discussing who should take care of defending the unstoppable brothers. Masada's praise for his shot leaves a surprised Yuka looking back. Her friends applaud from the bank, impressed by the coordination between the brothers, while Yuka realizes that her prudence was unnecessary. He encourages her to take the lead next time, promising to support her if she needs it. Her unwavering confidence gives her multiplied strength, and she enthusiastically accepts the challenge. The veteran are reorganized, with three of them now surrounding Yuka to stop her. The mentor struggles with rage, wondering who is that new arrival so skilled. In front of her, Yuka smiles safely, clinging to the ball and thinking about her brother as her most precious person. What only enrages the mentor, she throws a needed look, determined to live up to her expectations. Yuka explodes in speed, easily dribbling beyond one of the senior veterans. The mentor is thrown to stop it, but Yuka skillfully dodges the aggressive block, keeping the play alive. Execute an impeccable tunnel and crossover, letting your trust shine. Unleashes its special movement, easily in front of the surprised veteran. The mentor can only look frustrated while Yuka's feints disrupt the defense. When preparing to throw, another older jumped to block it, sure that he made an error. But Masadu suddenly appears, jumping at the perfect moment to enter the play. Move. Yuka passes the ball with skill, and he rises to catch him. The mentor is left without words to recognize that shot and fadeaway that she has seen innumerable times before. Yuka knows that memory movement, after observing his brother practice it without rest. Masadu inside remembers that it was a difficult shot that only dominated in high school. The ball crosses the network cleanly, ensuring another point for the unstoppable duo. Yuka remembers what happened next, when the basketball team faced its stalkers. Major girls were even forced to apologize, clearly warned to stop harassing her. She suspects that her brother intervened, although he denies him with humility when asked. Changing theme, Masadu congratulates her for her incredible final shot in the game. She blushes, insisting that her ability is only because she studied her movements so much. He thanks him again, his face radiating pure gratitude. Suddenly, he realizes that he has not expressed his gratitude well. He makes a deep reverence, formally thanking him for having rescued her. He surprises her apologizing for not arriving before. He explains that he was watching in the distance, but ran as soon as he saw the mentor to push her. He blames for his pain, wishing to have noticed harassment before. His sincere apology puts her to the edge of tears. Masadu recovers his smile, telling him how happy he was about his team. With a playful tone, he praises his skills, leaving a nervous Cassava denying his compliments. Rubberized, he admits that for her, the only important thing was to play by her side. Suddenly, he stops her, with a serious expression that takes her completely off guard. Masadu grabs his wrist and bows his face towards her, sending her mind to a state of pure panic. His imagination runs over, convincing that this is the time he dreamed so much. He is sure that fate led them to that perfect romantic opportunity. Their thoughts get out of control, without knowing how to react as the moment intensifies. His romantic fantasy breaks when he simply takes off the back paper of a whip. She looks like her arm confused, while he thanks her for having won by hand. With a kind smile, he apologizes for not having noticed before he was injured. His apology is interrupted when suddenly is completely surprised. Overwhelmed by emotion, Yuka surrounds him with his arms, his mind made a total chaos. He hides his face on his chest, deciding to release his feelings, even if he thinks he is rare. He caresses his head tenderly, praising her for doing so well during the intense game. That simple fulfillment makes his heart shoot, realizing how much he likes. Standing on the empty court, he confirms for herself that he is the only person you can see. The narrative describes how it embraces it strongly, heeding his feelings in that single gesture. The scene changes to Masadu resting in his room, lying in his futon after a long day. Your rest is interrupted by remembering that some messages should answer. Before sleeping, check his contacts, noticing Yuka, a message from Sarah, and feeling a puncture of concern for Mai. He realizes that, since his arrival in this world, he has made friendship especially with women, including Kumi and the senpai of the bar. Kumi's message about tutorials catches his attention and wonders briefly if he is helping another girl before answering. While falling asleep, he reflects that 2 months have passed since his arrival and surprisingly things have gone well. Think of all the girls he has known, considering them good people despite their different personalities. Remember Aika's warning to be careful with women, but discard it. Convinced that she has handled it well so far. Check your phone one last time, wishing your calm and normal life can continue without major shocks. Meanwhile, Yuka reflects on his own feelings, admitting that although his crush for Masadu gives him happiness, he also fills her with concern for his many friends. Lying in bed, she is worried about Masato's tutorials, hoping that she is not with another girl. Inside it boils when thinking about how clueless it is about its own attractiveness, and in the mystery of his Friday work. Hugging your pillow, it gathers value, swearing not to go back to any possible rival. His thoughts are interrupted by a night notification that illuminates the screen of his phone. He joins suddenly, shocked to see that the message is Masadu. Clinging to the mobile, frantically pray that the student is a boy or at least a small child. His mind boils of jealousy, imagining a safe high school as his rival. The message confirms its worst fear, is giving tutorials to a second-year high school student. History then reveals that the student is Aika, who holds a book while thinks of smoking. Alone in his room, sitting on his desk, he is completely lost in his thoughts about him. Aika closes the book, consumed by the expectation of the next tutoring. Meanwhile, Masadu reviews his bank account, baffled by a payment that seems too generous for part-time work. He realizes that both jobs were organized by Aika and begins to suspect that she is secretly helping him with his finances. His financial concerns are interrupted by an unexpected call from Kumi. Remember how uncomfortable it was to have to explain one of your work, feeling completely out of place in a boys' bar. Answer the phone, having told Kumi only about his respectable work of Saturday tutoring. But her voice across the line causes a sudden chill, leaving him completely surprised. Panic when she interrogates him about being teaching a girl. His cold and emotion tone makes him ask what he did wrong. After the call, he walks towards his work, completely baffled so he could have detonated those sudden humor changes in Kumi. He concludes that, although he believed to understand the girls, Kumi's sweet but terrifying personality shows that he still has a lot to learn. He remembers his past life, where he even went out with girls who confessed. Masadu remembers how, having grown up with a childhood friend, she always felt comfortable talking to women. The memory of a girl who discovered that her kindness was not special, but simply her way of treating everyone. It connects that with its upbringing in an orphanage, where goodness was a fundamental lesson that molded its way of seeing life. He admits to himself that he did not always handle his relationships in his previous life, he reflects on how to transform it. To all the girls equally, unable to give a special treatment to the one who is dating him. He looks at heaven, feeling that it is too late to change his fundamental nature of being kind to everyone. With an air of determination, he continues his way, leaving aside his complicated thoughts. He reaches a large mansion with bars, ready to change mentality and concentrate on his tutoring work. It plays the bell, the door opens with a click, and a voice calls it from within the imposing house. Masadu is received by the student's mother, who directs him to his daughter's room. The woman receives it with a warm and familiar welcome, smiling kindly. While climbing the stairs, remember that he has been teaching to the daughter of an Aika acquaintance for a month. Upon reaching the door of his room, he hits gently before entering. Educatedly announces his arrival, asking permission to pass. A young woman with big curious eyes appears from the door while greeting her. She seems surprised by her casual outfit, asking her why you didn't see her usual uniform. The girl formally presents himself as her student, a second-year student named Sayori. Sayori explains your decision to wear casual clothes, feeling that carrying uniform on a day free would be strange. Masadu dedicates a lovely smile, praising his outfit and commenting on how pleasant it is to see her with something different. She shyly halaga too, but he bothers her saying that she will not free her from doing homework. His attention is directed to a book on the desk and asks what he was reading. Look at its correct manners, concluding that it has the refined bearing of a student model of the accommodated family. She explains that it is an interesting book by a particular author, leaving him thoughtful for his poetic start. His passionate way of talking about the work leaves him completely bewildered. Internally notice her sudden clumsiness when she, nervous, gives a vague assent, a skewer panic, fearing that he realized that his comment on the book was just an empty attempt to connect. He worries that his conversation is too superficial for such a literary girl and decides that it is time to start the lesson. However, she is still lost in her thoughts, without being able to believe that such a wonderful person is in her room. His trust wobbles as he wonders if he really deserves to be close to him. Hidden, Shirori reflects on his reputation for being simple and scruff, a label that accepted without problem for a while. He remembers his dream in the high school of finding a boyfriend, a hope that faded quickly in the face of social reality. In her mind, popular girls monopolized all the boys, leaving her, as she thought, no chance like the one left over. Try to convince yourself that you don't really need a boyfriend to be happy. Observing his companions, he justifies his singleness by stating that he has impossibly high standards for the boys. With a conceited smile, he clings to a book, deciding that he is a substitute worthy of real romance. He finds comfort in his beloved fantasy novels, a world he can always escape. In those stories, he finds characters from pure hearts, very different from the people of his real life. The fictitious heroes are great, and the heroines have clear motifs to love them, a brutal contrast with their own confusing world. Back in class, observe the popular being painfully aware of the distance between his fantasy world and his lonely reality. Saley releases a tired sigh, his bitter expression for the social pressures of the school. While her companions socialize naturally, she remains isolated on her desk, observing in. Silence your world. Upon arriving home, he plans to take refuge in video games, but his mother stops her on the stairs. It concludes with sorrow that your real life is a disappointment compared to your fictional escapes. His mother immediately presses her, asking him if he already made friends or found a boyfriend. Deep inside, Shirori denies him awkwardly, uncomfortable by the sudden interrogation. His mother then launches the typical sermon about finding a partner, a speech that Sayori has heard 1,000,000 times. The subject changes his future when his mother confirms his university choice. Suddenly, the woman occurs an idea as a solution to the academic and social problems of Sayori. She reveals that she got a tutor from that same university, a suggestion that leaves Shirori completely stunned. Shirori stubbornly rejects his mother's enthusiastic proposal from the top of the stairs. The woman insists that she knows him at least once, revealing that she is scheduled to arrive on Saturday. Annoying for the insistence, Shirori goes up stepping hard to his room. It justifies his refusal, saying that he prefers to study alone and that socializing seems complete discomfort. Upon entering your room, plot a plan to invent an excuse and dispatch the tutor immediately. On Saturday, Shirori is completely absorbed in his book, sighing for the impeccable hero of history. Pater excited in bed, declaring that this fictional character is a perfect, almost divine being. His emotion fades when he reminds herself that such perfection only exists in fiction. Just when his mother announces the arrival of the tutor, Shirori mocks the idea that someone perfect exists in reality. His cynical thoughts are cut suddenly when he panicked when he is still wearing the school uniform. Shirori dismisses his appearance, convinced that the tutor will not remain much time. An educated voice greets her from the other side of the door, addressing her by name. She reluctantly opens, already annoyed by the idea of a tutoring session after a long day of class. But his annoyance disappears instantly when he sees his beautiful tutor standing in front of her. Her mother, proud, presents Masadu, praising her good appearance and pushing her. His daughter, mute of amazement to greet him. Shirori's mind short-circuits while panic, desperately begging for a moment alone. Close the door, collapsing nervous, horrified that his mother has hidden the genre of the tutor. Furious, he silently accuses his mother of having ambushed her and swears revenge while running in her room. Your panic increases when you see your clothes, console, and merchandising otaku in view. In a desperate attempt to hide his hobbies, he throws a blanket on top of everything. He panics when he realizes that his room is full of novels and tone-up sleeves that he must hide. Adjusting the glasses in front of the mirror, admits for itself that the tutor was surprisingly handsome. Pending the door nervous, apologizes for waiting. He smiles warmly, blaming her mother's confusion while she invites him to pass. His mind runs to 1,000 with the incredible reality that an attractive boy is now in his room. Try to calm the accelerated heart, convinced that this situation is too good to be true. To cope with him, it is convinced that he must have a horrible personality that balances how well he looks. Overwhelmed by anxiety, he can barely speak. His voice comes out like a nervous squeak. Gathering value, he clarifies that today it is only an interview to decide if he gets the job. Masudu kindly offers an exit, suggesting that if you feel uncomfortable, it is. Simply say your decision to your mother. His gesture considered completely disarming it, leaving her thinking if it will not be too good to be real. He tries to connect talking about his university choice, concluding happily that he must be a lover of books. Its cynical side comes into action, convinced that its kindness is nothing more than a manipulative act to keep the work. He finishes with a lovely smile, asking him about his favorite books, which only intensifies his state of nerves. That simple question throws it to a silent panic, leaving it completely bewildered by its reaction. Inside, she enters crisis by realizing that she cannot confess her love for the cheesy romantic novels without frightening him. Desperate for sounding interesting, lies and claims to enjoy serious and sophisticated literature. He admits with humility, which is also difficult to get hooked with too formal texts. His impeccable response leaves her stunned, unable to believe that someone so perfect can exist. Overwhelmed by its perfection, it breaks under the pressure and releases suddenly that I had been lying all the time. Shirori internally justifies his rudeness, convinced that it is a necessary proof to reveal his true and ugly personality. He pushes more, asking him why someone like him would like to waste time teaching a common girl instead of someone pretty. Inside, it challenges him to get angry, but he calmly responds that his appearance does not care at all. He promises that while she strives to enter the university, she will do everything possible to help her. His genuine sincerity leaves Shirori completely speechless while he continues with a radiant smile. He calls her a wonderful person, confessing that he found her beautiful from the first moment he saw her. The unexpected fulfillment hits her like a download, dyeing the face of a deep blush. In his mind, he transforms into a fantasy hero that has crossed dimensions only to know her. The face is covered with the hands. The heart runs while repeating his sweet words again and again. That same night, he is completely embebida with the idea that this perfect boy will visit his room every week. Pater the bed with the feet, his overflowing mind of romantic fantasies of accidental encounters. Hugging his book, he acknowledges that a boy is a Masadu, so Prince would never look at someone like her. On the cover of the book, a perfect hero with his beautiful heroine marks an impossible standard. A blow of reality shakes her while joining, determined to change her destiny. When looking in the mirror, he sees his simple reflection, painfully aware that he does not resemble the heroines of his stories. Her internal critic makes fun of her delusions, forcing her to accept that she must become a heroine for her own merit. Inspired by its fictional idol, he begs his mother to teach him the art of makeup. From that day, He changes the glasses for lenses and releases his hair, reinventing himself completely. With new confidence, he feels ready to face the world with his new appearance. Back in the classroom, its transformation causes glances of their own partners who murmur about their sudden change. Shiroi is nervous in the living room, her new image making her feel incredibly self-conscious. He worries that they think she is only a disagreement girl trying too much. His anxiety shoots when the popular class girls approach their desk. To his surprise, one of them praises the new style, asking him if a change of look was made. Blushed but relieved, Shiroi timidly confirms yes, which changed his style. Reflect on how he had judged them badly, realizing that when talking to her, they became friends right away. Her new friends even brought her shopping, helping her choose pretty clothes because she didn't have any. He acknowledges that it had herself who had clothes to others all the time. He feels that now his refined and elegant look is just what he needs to impress Masato. Convinced that he is finally worthy of his hero, his thoughts are interrupted by the voice of Masadu at his door. He is completely captivated by his radiant smile, struggling to contain his reaction. He looks at the book about his desk and asks what he was reading, taking it off guard. She enters internal panic, remembering that she had disguised her novel-up tone with a more respectable cover. His thoughts reveal the true and burning content of the book, making her sweat nervously. He acknowledges the title of the false cover, happily citing his poetics. Initial phrase. Panic returns when he admits to herself that she has never read the cover book. He decides to start the lesson while she feels nervous, swearing to read the other later. His mind diverges, contrasting the poetic title with the much more direct fantasies of his true romantic novel. Narration explains a complex literary detail about how the name of a character reads. He looks at her bewildered while she closes her eyes and melts in a state of pure happiness. She admits that although she does not like to study, she treasures that private time with a mass. Despite your clear explanations, it is difficult for you to understand the difficult text. Feeling terribly insufficient, determined not to be a burden, promises to understand the material regardless of how complicated it is. He leans closer, offering to follow the passage with his finger, which only makes her more nervous. While the guide through the text, she is completely captivated by her voice so close to her. His panic shoots when he feels his hand resting on his back while pointing the book. The unexpected closeness launches its mind to a dizzy spiral, leaving it totally exceeded. The simple act that he leans over his chair is too intimate to support him. Unable to endure more, invent an excuse and flee abruptly from the room, leaving it confused alone. He covers his mouth, his whole body trembling by the overwhelming wave of emotions slides through the door, still shudder by the ghost sensation of his touch throughout his body. His refined mask begins to crack while reproaching for having improper thoughts of a heroine. Back in the room, a bewildered Mask cares about having invaded his personal space and having bothered it. Shiroi clings to the chest, overloaded by the intense feelings that he barely manages to contain. His imagination flies unbridled while invading a powerful and possessive desire that barely you can control. An expression between stunned and ecstatic takes its face, completely lost in its overwhelming fantasies. She imagines a future moment with him, wishing to feel her presence without any barrier between them. The confusion of Masato intensifies, wondering if somehow angry, completely oblivious to his internal monologue. He swears herself to conquer without failing her perverted tutor, revealing that the fifth girl in Masato's life could be the most dangerous of all. A week crawled for Misaki, a woman whose impeccable professional life hid a growing obsession. In the office, while his colleagues vibrated with plans for the weekend, I enthusiastically mentioned the voice bar Misaki's thought was fixed in one place, in one person. He had reserved Friday afternoon as free, a small anomaly on his agenda that did not go unnoticed. A colleague, noticing the change, approached with a malicious smile, wanting to know the reason for his rest. At first, Misaki tried to dodge the answer, but the insistence of her friend made her blush, revealing more than the words could express. Experienced in the world of hosts, the secret soon deciphered. A meeting paid with a host before his turn in the bar. With a contagious enthusiasm, the advantages describing his own meeting planned with a young man named Yusuke was the opportunity to have the exclusive attention of his favorite away from the looks of other customers. The envy shone in the eyes of the friend when she presumed that Asuna, the professional name of Masato, had invited her. Misaki, however, timidly admitted that the initiative had left her. The revelation brought relief to the colleague, who encouraged her, mentioning that the proximity of the bonus payment was the perfect time to invest in a special night. The conversation lit the imagination of Misaki, who was lost in a vivid fantasy. Not only was I giving a gift to Masato, but it offered a ring, sliding it on its ring finger in a symbolic act of possession. Back to the reality of his desk, Misaki gathered all his courage with an accelerated heart. He wrote a message to Masato, inviting him to the meeting and disguising his intense desire with the excuse that he needed to speak. It was a new opportunity, a step forward in the relationship he built in his mind. For his delight, his response was almost immediate and affirmative. The joy seized Misaki, who barely managed to contain his victorious smile. On Friday, Misaki preparation was a meticulous ritual. Every detail from lingerie to perfume was chosen to cause perfect impression. When finding Masato in the street, reality exceeded his fantasies. He apologized for the small delay, but his smile and praise made her feel like the only woman in the world. He called her angel, and her professional charm left her breath. For her, that was not a commercial transaction, which was the beginning of something real. Sitting in a coffee, the atmosphere was loaded with attention that only Misaki seemed to feel fully. For her, every look, every word of Masato was a confirmation of her feelings. It was lost in thoughts, questioning if he also saw that as a real appointment, while fighting to contain the happiness that made her want to scream. When the account arrived, he made sure to pay, reaffirming his role as a supplier. A gesture that he accepted with slight surprise, remembering how she always insisted that he did not worry about money. Seeing him enjoy the food with such a genuine pleasure excited her deeply, and in an impulse, she fed it, calling him by his real name, Masato, and confessing how many. Subscribe to the channel. Masato said that he had no parents and had grown up in an institution. The confession hit her strongly. The weight of his reality, so distant from his romantic fantasies, broke it. Tears arrived, uncontrollable, as he apologized, repeatedly feeling silly for having prioritized his own selfish desires. Masato, with the kindness that had captivated her, he comforted her, assuring her that everything was fine and that, despite everything, he was happy. His simple statement of happiness was the catalyst for a dark transformation within Misaki. When leaving coffee, the dynamics between them had irrevocably changed in their mind. It was no longer just a client in love who was his saving. The promise of an upcoming encounter was just a detail. Now she had a purpose: protect him. He asked to go hand in hand to the bar, and the contact of his skin with his was a seal of his new vote. On the street, under the lights of the city, Misaki's obsession flourished in a dangerous possessiveness. He hugged him from behind, feeling that knowing his vulnerability, he had gained the right to possess it. Her painful past was not a tragedy, but an opportunity for her. A strong desire was born at that moment, the desire to protect him from a dirty world, to wrap him in his care so that he never had to suffer. While they walked from the hand to the bar, a sinister smile formed on their lips. I would be with him forever. I would never release that hand.